Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. So, in this episode of the ongoing civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia, we continue to receive reports of fairly significant fighting that is occurring, especially along the Desse-Kombolcha front. We continue to get word that the Tigray Defense Forces continue to press its offensive and are very, very close now to Desse and Kombolcha. The closest area is right here at Kutaber. And we continue to get reports of ongoing fighting. It sounds as if Kutaber was vacated by forces of the Abiy loyalists and the Amhara militias. There was some dispute between the two forces to vacate Kutaber, but in the end, the Tigrayan Defense Forces now control Kutaber. We have also received reports that there continues to be airstrikes. There continues to be these alleged drone strikes that are occurring. We have also received intel that would indicate a possible transport aircraft was shot down by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. Because this was a transport aircraft, does this mean that it was not conducting airstrike missions? Well, the answer to that is absolutely no. You cannot categorically say that. So, as we know, within the U.S. Military right now, the idea, something known as distributed lethality, has occurred within the United States Air Force. And that basically gives all aircraft, to include C-130 transport aircraft and a host of other aircraft, the ability to launch precision-guided munitions against targets. So the idea that transport aircraft cannot be used to strike targets on the ground is something that is simply not true. Now, with that being said, is the Ethiopian Air Force putting precision-guided weapon systems on these transport aircraft? No, probably not. Most definitely not. These are probably dumb bombs being attached via pylons to transport aircraft. So, really, anything that can fly and can carry a payload could, in theory, drop bombs. And especially in the civil war taking place inside of Syria, we've seen the Syrian Air Force drop ordnance from anything and everything that it possesses, including transport helicopters. They have devised a way to roll out barrel bombs out of helicopters. So any aircraft that is airworthy and can fly, and obviously transport aircraft can carry large amounts of payloads because it is a fairly large aircraft. There is no reason why we would not see a transport aircraft carry ordnance and drop bombs in this conflict. Now, with that being said, is it possible it was just transporting troops and equipment or what have you to the Kombolcha airport and was coming in for our landing? Yeah, very possible. That is something that could be going on as well. But again, the Kombolcha airport, by both the Abiy loyalists and the Tigrayan Defense Forces, have been declared off limits to civilian aircraft. So one can only consider that anything flying in to Kombolcha is a valid military target at this point. So again, transport aircraft, not transport aircraft, really doesn't matter at this point. Even if it was a transport aircraft, it could be dropping bombs on targets, and if it was not dropping bombs on targets, then it's still possibly carrying supplies to the Abiy loyalists, to the federal forces, and landing at Kombolcha Air Base. And with that being said, then the question is it a valid military target? And I would have to reasonably say, yes, it is. And apparently right now it looks as if possibly a man-portable air defense system may have shot down another federal transport aircraft over the combat zone. The again the areas now, how close the Tigrayan Defense Forces are to Dese is pretty remarkable, considering that just 10 days ago there was talk of a overwhelming offensive operation by the Abiy loyalists, by the Ethiopian federal forces, by the Amhara militias that would in fact sweep both north and east from Dese and within the vicinity west of Gashina, with the goal of a two-pronged operation seizing control of Weldia right here. And obviously that operation has failed. And in fact, now the Abiy loyalists, the federal forces, the Amhara militias, are now on a desperate defensive operation, trying to prevent the loss of Dese and Kambalcha. If Dese and Kambalcha fall, or one of these cities were to fall, this is an earth-shattering defeat for the Ethiopian and Amhara militaries. Again, the idea was a massive counteroffensive to clear the northern Amhara region of the TDF, and if in fact they end up losing Dese and Kambalcha, or one of them, it is going to be one of the most devastating defeats of the war, probably along the lines of the initial seizing of Mekelle in the attack that took place in late 2020 by the Eritrean army and the Ethiopian army. But again, the TDF is now mobilized. You're looking at hundreds of thousands of forces that have been deployed and are really attacking tenaciously with the intent right now with Dese and Kambalcha being the prime target. Now, with that being said, this is an interesting conflict where you're looking in one direction, and then very quickly we can see activity pop up in another direction. So would that be, could we see a possible move someplace else? Is a campaign in the West by the Tigrayan Defense Forces possible? Could we see, and I've talked about this again, the rising storm in Oromia? I think that, again, a very possible, very chaotic situation in much of Oromia. The OLA is very active, and at some point we suspect that there's going to be a fairly significant operation by the OLA. Where that will occur, unsure as of yet. But we are hearing, and we are receiving chatter of a lot of movement of forces, and a lot of preparation is underway. So where could this be? What will this look like for the Oromo Liberation Army? Well, stay tuned, because my understanding is it is highly likely we will see some sort of operation sooner rather than later. Now, what that sooner is, not sure at this point, but again, just stay tuned. But right now, a really desperate situation for the federal forces within the vicinity north of Dese and Kambalcha. Major defeat with the seizure of Kutaber, and now possible more aircraft lost by the federal forces as the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to press south with its target of Dese. We also continue to monitor the situation along the Eritrean Tigray border. Again, I've talked about this in depth. I do not believe at this point we are going to see a major operation by the Eritrean army. I think we would only see some sort of fairly significant operation if we end up seeing a major defeat within the confines of Dese Kambalcha, and then a rapid advance south towards Addis Ababa, which is again very possible. But again, the Dese Kambalcha nut is going to be very, very difficult to crack. There is a lot of forces, a lot of Abiy loyalists operating within the confines of Desai and Kambalcha, and they fully understand what will happen if one or both of these cities are lost to the Tigrayan Defense Forces. It could be very much the end of the Prosperity Party and Abiy Ahmed. Again, he will lose so much credibility and a political power with the loss of one or both of these major cities that he may not be able to recover. And other persons may feel that they can lead the Prosperity Party or lead the federal government greater or better than he can. And then obviously the Amhara region as well. That could cause the Amhara region to reconsider its relationship with Abiy Ahmed if, in fact, Desai and Kambalcha are seized by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. But we will continue to monitor the situation and bring you more news as soon as we get it. Have a great day, everybody.